Hi guys, my name's Ben and today I'll be teaching you how to make your own basic website. The tools you'll need besides your computer are a text editor, I'm going to use Notepad++, and a web browser. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up your text editor and create a new file and save the file with a .html file extension so that it can be displayed in your browser. Now once you've done that, you're going to want to open up your browser, and to open up your HTML file you can just press Ctrl O and then you can select the file. The first tag I've written is doctype HTML, that just lets the web browser know it's an HTML file, and then you're going to write the HTML tag, which also lets the browser know it's an HTML file, and then a head, which the head tag contains things that won't actually show up in the body of the page. It's information about the page, such as what I've got here as the title. Just letting you know what the site is about. And then you close the head, use a slash then head, because you close every tag that you open up. So then I've done a body tag. The body contains all the content that will show up on the page, and I've put a style into that, which is CSS. CSS is used to add style to format your web page, format the look of it, and I just put background color blue. And I've done a comment tag there just to specify that I'm about to do a div which will be the container div. It will contain everything, all the content on the web page. A div is a divider or container which can hold images, text, videos or other HTML elements. It behaves similarly to a body tag, except it can be used multiple times, and it's used to get a small section of the web page rather than just the whole page. Here I'm just adding a style to the div, so some CSS, and I'm giving it margin left auto and margin right auto, just centers everything, and I'm giving the div a width of 1200 pixels. That's just almost as wide as the most computer screens. You don't want to have it really the full width. You'd like to have some edges at the sides. And within the container div I'm making another div, and I'm doing the header. So the h1 tag is a header tag, and it's used for titles really. So h1 is the biggest header, and then you've got h2 which is a bit smaller, and h3 which is smaller still. So for h1 I'm doing the title of the web page, and I'm giving that a CSS style of text align center, which just makes sure it's in the center of the div that it's in. And I'm also giving it a color of white, and it's going to say fully hectic Sobeys. And I'm closing the h1 tag. Just saving it here to show you what the page now looks like, and so you could see it was blue with a title. Here I'm making a div that is going to contain a navigation bar. And to make a navigation bar, basically you do the unordered list tag and you give it a style of list style type none, just to give it a plain look. And I'm going to give it a margin of 0, padding of 0. The margin and padding are basically the box model. So of an element there is a box model, and the margin and padding are on the outside of the content of the element. So it sort of separates the element. If you give it a big lots of padding, it separates the element from other elements, so it can't touch them. Display inline block just makes it all display on the same line. For your navigation bar, obviously you want it to be horizontal. Well, we do. So we want it to display on the same line. So you'll see that doesn't do the full trick, like there's still more you have to add to make it all on the same line, but we'll get to that soon. So after the unordered list tag, we are going to put a list tag, so just li. Now the unordered list tag is the tag used to start a list without numbers, so it'll just have bullet points, and the li, the list tag, is meaning a list item tag, and it's used within the unordered list tag to specify an item in a list. It will display after the previous li tag within the unordered list. The a tag or anchor tag is a hyperlink, so it will display a hyperlink on the web page, and it needs an href attribute within it, and that attribute is the page that it's going to link to, so you'll need to write in the name of the page that it's going to link to. In this case I've got it linking to my subaru.html file, which is the file that I'm working on now, and the next one will link to another page. And after the href attribute, I've ended the a tag and put page 1. So the list, sorry, I didn't end the a tag, but I've put page 1 and then ended the a tag, so the list item is going to actually say page 1, which you'll see in a minute. So then I'm just copying and pasting that line basically, and changing the href to other page.html, because all of the page 2 to 8 is going to go to a different page, just to show you how to go from page to page on a website. So now I'm just going to show you what this looks like, and you can see you've got your list there, but it's going down, so we just want to make it go across. and instead of adding text to all of those 8 lines of list tags, we're just going to make a CSS style for that. So we can do it in this document. You usually do it within the head tag. So just under title I've put style and then list, and we're going to make that list float left. So every list on this document will float left. And that, as you can see, has made them all on the same line. The float left basically means that the element is going to float to the left, and so the next element comes up to the right of it instead of being underneath it. So now for the A tag in the styles, I'm making it display block and width 150, so it's going to take up more of the screen now and look like more of a navigation bar, as well as adding a background color. Colors are done in hex, or you can just write the color, but you can get a lot more colors if you use the hex chart. And so we'll save this and refresh, and it didn't actually, the width didn't change because I've made a typo. I didn't write 150 pixels. So now we'll have a look at it, and there, it looks more like a navigation bar now. And we just remember to close that style tag. Just close every tag that you've started. So I've done a horizontal rule there, and that's just a line across the page. It separates contents on the page just to make it look nicer, basically. Remember, we ended the unordered list and the div, and now I'm just making a comment saying left column, so we're going to make a div that covers only the left side of the page. And here I'm making that div, giving it some style, 590 pix, so around about half of the container which we made. The container was 1200 pix. We're going to make this column float left so that afterwards we can do a right column, and it'll come up to the right of this column. We're going to give it a margin right of 10 pixels just to separate it a bit from the right hand column. And it's just going to do the P tag, which is paragraph, and that's just used to basically write a paragraph. So I'm just adding in random text here just to get the look of it, of what a paragraph looks like, and ending the paragraph tag. And I think I'm going to do, I do another paragraph, so just copy and paste to be quick. And we're going to end that div, save it, and take a look at it. So there you go, you've got 2 paragraphs only on the left column because we made the div on the left with half the width of the container. Now we're going to add an image, so we're doing the image tag img. The title attribute just adds a title so that when you hover over the image it will say car, just to let them know it is a car. If the image doesn't load, they can still tell what would have been there. And we're doing the source attribute, so src, and that links to an actual image on your computer. So I've got an image called car.jpg on my computer, and we're giving it a width of 560 pixels and a height of 315, and that seems to work without the pixels, but it is best to write 315 pixels. And in that div, so we saw that the picture came up and it was a decent size, so now we're going to do the right column. So we're just got to make another div, just give it a width, same width as the left column. We're going to make this float right, so it floats up to the right of the container div that we're in. And I'm just going to add a couple of paragraphs to that. Save it and take a look. Make sure to end the div before you take a look, or it won't display correctly at all. And there we go, we've got the right hand column now displaying some paragraphs. So I just went within that same div, so we're in the right hand column. I'm just going to add a YouTube video. To add a YouTube video, we use the iframe tag. This creates an inline frame. It can be used to display and embed things such as a YouTube video. So we're going to give it a width and a height, and you've got to give it a source. Now this bit is actually easier than just typing, which is what I'm doing here. You can actually just go to the YouTube video, the YouTube page that the video is on, and then click share, and then click embed, and it gives you the whole source attribute. And you just copy and paste that attribute where source goes, and it also gives you the frame border. It gives you all this. So we close the iframe tag, and you can see there you've got a YouTube video now placed on the page. So now we've done a horizontal roll again, we've done another one. Style is clear both, and that clears the float that was done beforehand. So we've got a float right on that div above. And if we don't clear that, then the horizontal roll will appear in line with the previous div beside it, but we want it to be under it, so we're going to just clear those floats. And now we're doing just saying we're doing a footer, so we've done a footer comment, and we're making the div for the footer, giving it a style of margin left and margin right auto, just like we did before, to center everything. And a width of 1190 pixels. So about the same width as the container, just 10 pixels less. The reason we're doing 10 pixels less is so that we can give it a border. We're giving it a background color So you just check the hex charts to see what the code is for the color you want, and a height of 50 pixels, the border of 5 pixels, and it will now take up the full width of the container, because 5 pixels on each side of the div, making up to 10 pixels. A border style outset. This is just getting fancy here. We're just showing you that you can get quite customizable using CSS. So we're giving the border a color, giving some padding so nothing can touch this div. Everything has to be at least 2 pixels away from the outside of this div. And within the footer div, we're just going to do a paragraph. Say the P tag. First we're going to end that div and just show you what it looks like. So that's our footer div there. And then within the div we do some writing, so the P tag. We're going to make the paragraph not take up the whole container, so that we can put a picture next to the paragraph. So we'll give it a width of 1000 pixels and the container width is 1190 pixels, and we're making this part float left so that the picture will come up to the right of the text instead of being under the text. The paragraph is going to be of a font family. We've just typed in Arial, Calibri, Century Gothic, and what the web browser interprets this as, well, it will actually choose the first one, but if it doesn't have it, it will take the second font, and if it doesn't have that, it will take the third one, and we've made it sans serif. The font size of 12 pix and color is just a hex code for the color again. And just writing in something in the footer, so suggesting what you can write. Pretty simple, you can write whatever you want. I just wanted to fill the footer in a bit more with text, so just copying and pasting some of that text. So I ended the paragraph in the wrong place, so you've got to delete that and end it in the right place. And then we want to add an image. First I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So it doesn't go right to the end, so we have room for our copyright image. So after the browser, just doing an image tag, giving it a title, so when someone hovers over it, it'll say copyright symbol. And when you do the image tag, we now know that you have to do a source to get an actual image on your computer from. So I've got an image called copyright.jpg, and here I'm just setting the size of the image. Align right will just shift the image to the right of the div to get it further away from the text. It's just a formatting option I wanted. So now we'll take a look at it, and we've got our image there, and it was aligned to the right. Now we're going to end that div. And the div was already ended, otherwise it wouldn't have displayed like that. And we're just going to end the body and end the HTML tag. And save it. And that is the finished website. But we want to make another web page, so we've got our other page.html there, and we're just going to copy and paste all the code from the first page into that and change a couple of things. This is just to show you how to link pages in the navigation bar. So we've made it more fully hectic Subies and changed the background color to red, and you can see that all of the page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will link to the other page, the red page. So this is just showing you that it's linking to the other page, and that's linking back to the first page. So that's everything. That's how you make a website. Hopefully you've learned the fundamentals and you can go away and try and make something of your own. Cheers.